What's happening, everybody? It's Eric J. Olson with your Array Digital lunchtime live stream. So sometimes we do solo episodes here. Sometimes it's just a couple of us from the shop sitting around talking about a marketing concept or whatnot. But today we have something new and different that we're going to try. I gave a talk several months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point, and someone came up to me afterwards and was asking a lot of questions about the talk that I gave. And it turns out it's Kezia, who is a part of the Young Investors Group. She actually runs a group for high schoolers where it's young entrepreneurs, and they're teaching them how to be entrepreneurs, teaching them how to come up with the concept of a product and how to put a marketing plan together and how to pitch it and how to get customers and all the cool things that entrepreneurs talk about, except they're doing it at a much younger age than most entrepreneurs are doing it at. So I wanted to bring Kezia on and a couple of her young entrepreneurs, and we can find out what they're up to. So Kezia, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Eric.
You got it. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I wish we could do this live and in person, but this is the
Right?
next best thing, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, can you give us an overview of the program, how you got involved in it, and what it's all about?
Awesome. Yes, I sure can. So, the name of the program is Young Investors Group, and we focus on teaching middle school and high school students on ways that they can invest. So they learn how to become better in self development, and self investment, economic investment, and community investment. So those are our three core pillars. And the part that you spoke about is our economic investment. Session where they learn three levels of investments, which are entrepreneurship, trading in the stock market, as well as real estate.
Oh,
Last
wow.
summer, our first year, they had a chance to help sell a house. So they learned about real estate the summer of 2018. And last summer, they had an opportunity to launch businesses. So the group of youth were separated into two groups, and they had a chance to come up with their own business as a group. So that's always the fun part. And then they learn how to take those proceeds and those profits and invest them into the community, which is the community investment. So really just building youth that are building businesses at a younger age to make a longer social impact, if that makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense, and that is super cool. There was nothing like that when I was coming up, so I think the program that you put together is just amazing.
Yay.
Now, what I didn't realize until just now is that it's middle schoolers and high schoolers. Do they come together in one group, or do you have multiple classes happening?
So actually, they do come together in one group because we foster what we call transgenerational mentorship. And that's basically for youth not waiting until they become adults or to become successful to mentor. Oftentimes, it's easier for them to mentor or to be able to get the attention of a younger kid because they're closer in age. So, yeah, they all come together and it's group learning, and so they get a chance to pick up positive attributes from one another, and
Cool.
learning responsibility and leadership.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. For me, probably the closest analogy is like Boy Scouts. That's what I had growing up, and it was kids of lots of different ages kind of thrown together, and the kids that are a little bit older kind of took care of the kids that are a little bit younger. And then as you kind of worked your way up into the system. So that's really neat.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, let's
Absolutely.
so we have three young investors who have joined us. So let me just go around, and if you guys could just briefly introduce yourselves, say your name, where you go to school. I don't, are they all in the same middle school or high school, or is it all
No, they're
different?
in separate. Actually, they
Okay.
are in separate cities.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Yeah. So let us know a little bit about where you go to school, what you do, what you're interested in, and whether you're super bummed that school is out right now. So let's start with Nigel.
Right. Hi, my name is Nigel, and I go to Chesapeake Bay Academy. Um, my interests are passive income, like say. Um, I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed that school is out because now we gotta kind of work online. That gets a little difficult.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you're getting assignments by email from your teachers, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you mentioned passive income.
My
Are you familiar with Pat Flynn?
Are passive income. I'm not familiar.
Yeah. All right. So you may want to check him out. Pat Flynn. He has a concept called smart passive income. That's all he talks about is how to set up these systems that you put a little bit of energy into them up front, and then they keep paying you over time. Yeah. So if you're into passive income, then that'll be a good one for you. Well, cool. All right, and let's go next to Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I go to Great Ridge Middle School. My interests are I like to edit videos on After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and yeah, I'm not too happy about school closing for the rest of the year because I really wanted to finish 8th grade in school.
Isn't that
So,
crazy?
Yeah.
Amazing. I know, man. Well, all right, cool. And yeah, I know Nigel. I didn't ask Nigel, but I think we talked about it beforehand. Not super active on social media, correct?
Yeah, I'm not super active.
No, okay. But Michael, what about you? What's your social media of choice?
Instagram and TikTok, but I don't really post on there anymore. But yeah, I have an Instagram.
You were posted on TikTok for a little bit, or not really?
Yeah, I'm active on Instagram though.
Yeah, cool. What's your handle?
It's _Michael.w3.
There you go. Cool. All right, and last but not least, Nicholas, who is sideways on us.
Yeah, I had to switch to using my phone.
That's okay.
Because I keep losing connection on my computer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Nicholas, where do you go to school?
I go to Maury High School.
And what are your interests? What made you join this group?
Well, actually, my dad put me in this group to see if I would like it or not, but I do, because I was planning on helping my dad. We were planning on making a job together where real estate, to where I buy houses, he builds them, and then I sell them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Were you part of the group? I guess it was last year when you did the real estate transaction?
No, I wasn't.
No. Oh, all right. That sounds really interesting. So, well, thank you all of you for joining. Let's go back to Kezia, and maybe can you tell us a little bit about that transaction last year, the real estate transaction? That's a big deal. Like, you bought a house.
That it was super exciting. I know Nigel and both Michael were a part of the program when we did do the real estate transaction. But basically, when we first started the program, the focus was totally real estate. Because my background is in finances. I was a mortgage underwriter. I was a loan officer. And I'm like, it would be amazing for you to really understand the long process of owning a home. And so we have a partner, James Allen Group. It's a real estate broker. They came in and they taught a 2-day class on just introductory to real estate, and some of the benefits and some of what the process looks like to become a real estate agent and to own property and just everything that comes with real estate. And so we had an opportunity to partner to do an open house with them, and the youth actually had a chance to learn the layout of the house, as well as be able to engage with customers that would like to buy the property that was located in Norfolk. I know that Nigel was there. Nigel, is there anything you wanted to share a little bit about your experience? Is that you were there for that event?
You mean the event for the house?
Yeah, when we had a chance to help sell the house.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was different. Like I've never sold anything before, let alone a house. So when they were like, "Oh, give me all this information," it was kind of like a little bit overwhelming. But like once it was like the people kind of came in and kind of was like so tell me about the house. I was like, oh, I know this, this, and that, kind of hitting all the points. So it was just a great experience. It was fun.
So yeah, so that's pretty much what happened is they were the facilitators of being able to sell the house. And then at the end of the year, when the when all of our donations came in, they actually got a small stipend for participating in that activity.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. There you go. Risk and reward, right?
Absolutely.
No, that's
So,
awesome. All right, cool. I want to hear a little bit more about the program. I know that it's structured where the kids go through in a certain sequence. But first, I've got a comment that I just wanted to acknowledge from Kevin Daisy. He says, "Hey everyone, love what you are doing, Kezia, Hendricks, and crew." So we're live on Facebook. If anybody's got a question, go to our Facebook. You can go to thisisarray.live. You could type in your comment or question, and we'll respond as we're recording. So, yeah, Kezia, so you were explaining like there's different phases of the program.
yes.
How's that laid out?
So we have 3 phases, and the first phase is self-development investment. Basically, what we teach the participants in our group is that it starts with self first. So personal branding, you know, sometimes with teenage boys, because we have the majority boys. We actually this year have a couple of girls that were interested, but sometimes really learning who you are as a person, it really goes a long way, as well as when we are introducing concepts where they have to practice emotional intelligence, as well as presentation. We realized, as we were progressing in the program, that we needed to have a whole session on really the self-development and introducing that as an investment, because it's one thing to have a lot of money or to be able to be wealthy, but if you have issues with yourself and you're not invested in yourself, sometimes having a lot of money doesn't really matter.
You're absolutely right. That is super important. So it's you have to have, first of all, I think you have to have knowledge, and then you have to have confidence. Sometimes it's reversed, but in the end, you have to have confidence in what you're doing. And if you don't have confidence, then it's very difficult to be successful in life.
Absolutely. And you'll gain a certain level of success, but then it'll crash down because you're just not a good person because you don't love yourself.
That's right. That's right. You have to take care of yourself first, right?
Absolutely.
So whether it's investing or in learning, you have to pay yourself first. And it's similar to like when you're on the airplane and they say, if the mask dropped down, take care of yourself first and then help others out. You've got to take care of yourself first. So.
Absolutely. And so we teach that they value themselves as the first investment. The second phase is the economic. And we started out as teaching them the basic financial education, but learning about the 3 ways to economically empower yourself, we found that to structure the process for them was extremely important. So the first phase that they learn is the entrepreneurship phase, and that's I think they like the entrepreneurship phase a lot better than the real estate, to be honest with you, because it gives them an opportunity to kind of do their own thing, to be able to create. Yeah. So they learn about entrepreneurship through being in business as a team, and then being in business individually. And then real estate, obviously we discussed that. And then the last is the trading in the stock market, which we hadn't had a chance to really dive into. I believe that 2021 we're going to make that our focal point, but last year was real estate. This year we're really going to focus on them building and expanding the businesses that they would like to create.
So that's probably a good thing that you've done it in that sequence, given what's happening in the world these days. So, entrepreneurship's been really hot for the last 10 or 15 years. And it's probably because the economy has just been booming.
Right.
So it's been a very, very good time to be an entrepreneur, because frankly, it's kind of easy. Like when the economy is doing well, it's easy to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, at least easier. in times like right now with the COVID-19 outbreak and businesses shutting down, it's a lot harder and it's a lot riskier. So it's probably good that you covered that first, and it's also probably good that you haven't started in on the the investing, because the stock market is just crazy, up and down and up and down. Every day it's a new high or a new low. So probably a pretty good thing that you're going to wait for a little while. So
yeah. And that's the cool part, is that even with the entrepreneurship being the focal point for this year, them being able to create themselves, it also teaches them to have the multiple streams of income. I believe Nigel learned the concept of passive income in our real estate training. That's where I believe they were introduced to that terminology and that information. But a job isn't promised. There's always a chance where someone chooses that you're no longer that they want you to be a part of their team or a part of their company. And so we really want to instill in them to still have the knowledge of what it's like to go through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, because as an entrepreneur, that most entrepreneurs go through a process of ups and downs, and the flows of ins and outs of the business. So in my mind, taking them through that process over and over and over will just make them stronger, entrepreneurs. Now, for you, Eric, was Array your first business?
No, not by a long shot. I've had many businesses. Array, I would say, is the first successful business. And by successful, I mean where I can foresee a future. Whereas all the other businesses, it was a grind, and I was never really sure if I was going to double the size of the company in the next year or just go out of business. It was always a crapshoot. But it's also been just a tremendous learning experience. So I've been in business for 10 years now. This is my third company in 10 years where I've been where I've been the operator of the company, or one of the operators. There's been a lot of other things that I've tried, starting in high school and going through college, but this is for real finally. But it's been a challenge. Frankly, it's a journey.
Yeah,
it's a journey.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned risk, and in my opinion, we all have risk. And so as an entrepreneur, you certainly have risk. But as an employee, you have risk. I mean, there's a lot of employees right now that don't have jobs. Right. And so, there's always risk in life, and it's just a matter of, I think it's less about like risk versus reward and more about finding something that you're passionate about and then doing it to the best of your ability. That's what's really important.
Absolutely. And so that's what they get a chance to experience. I know Nigel specifically has had, he's one of our lead entrepreneurs or participants in our program. So he has had an opportunity to kind of go through his first and almost second business, right, Nigel?
Yeah, almost second.
Nice. Well, cool. So I know that each of them are working on their own business ideas now, right? Or potentially even taking it to like the execution phase. What I was thinking we could do is spend maybe 3 or 4 minutes with each of them, and you can kind of let us know what it is that you're working on, what stages you're at. And honestly, if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer any questions when it comes to anything to do with starting or running a business or with marketing. So
awesome.
Cool. Why don't we just go back around? Let's start with Nigel.
And really fast, Nigel, you can also share the second business, the lawn care one that I know you were. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just let you do it. I'll put myself on mute.
All right, so we're gonna go with Nigel, who's on the screen is Savage Panda, which is a really cool username, but guess we couldn't figure out how to change that in time, but that's all right. So go ahead, Nigel. Yeah, tell us about your business and what you're doing.
So I'm gonna start with my second business, which is the lawn care business. I will start this because it was kind of like more accessible. Like I'm sure people around my neighborhood need their like grass mowed or they need like a bush removed, something like that. So I thought that was like a more easier business to kind of start from my basis. Um, my target audience is the elderly, because they might need something cut or something done and not able to do it, so they can call my company or email me or call me and ask me if I could go there and do it for them. My second business that I was trying to run is e-commerce business. Well, shop online, I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to do. Um, I am in the works of making it. I'm in the works of transitioning from Shopify to another website, because Shopify is kind of having some problems right now. And that's pretty much it.
What is the problems? I'm not aware of the problems with Shopify. Are they like overloaded?
Nah, it's where they just won't let you into Shopify at all, and they kind of say, "Oh, we'll be back soon," and that's
Oh wow.
pretty much it.
And that's a recent like coronavirus kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's the recent coronavirus type of thing.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. So on the lawn care, I think it's a fantastic business. I did that when I was in high school. I made good money doing it. And even recently, Kevin Daisy, who's the co-founder of Array Digital, and I had talked about potentially starting up our own lawn care business, not through Array Digital, but Array would do the marketing for it, because it just seems like a great business where you could literally walk around the neighborhood, knock on doors, give them a flyer, and you'd probably have more business than you can handle in one day of doing that. Have you actually tried that, like going around? Are you in operations? Are you doing it?
I am doing it currently, but I'm trying to move to the stage where I can get flyers and credit cards. But what I'm doing now is people really near me. So yeah.
Make it simple. Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking about doing is, if we did that, what we wanted to do is get it, separate the payment from the actual work. And what I mean by that is, usually with lawn care, you pay $40 for every cut, which is fine, except as a business in the winter time, you won't be bringing any money in, right?
Yeah.
So what we were thinking of doing is maybe taking like the price per cut, figuring out how many times in a year a yard would need to be cut, and then doing the math to figure out the total amount we can make in a year off of one family or one house, and divide by 12. And that way, every month they're paying the same amount, whether it's springtime when the grass needs to be cut twice in a week, or the winter when it needs to be cut 0 times in a week. But they just get used to that payment, kind of like a gym membership or something like that. It's just, they're just used to seeing the same charge coming through every single month, no big deal, and they can budget for it too. So, just an idea. Cool. That's pretty awesome, Nigel. All right, Michael, aka Dark Z.
All right.
Yeah, what's your business idea?
Well, my first business that I started with the young investors was called Sweet Tea. It's where we sell shirts and candy. And that's the reason why we call it Sweet Tea, because candy's sweet and it's a shirt.
All right, cool. Now,
Let's
did you have
see.
to do with, was there something in common, between the two things, the candy and the T-shirt?
Well, the T-shirt was kind of sweet.
There you go, man.
T-shirt, sweet. All right. So that's one of the businesses, and the second business, which is, I don't really have a name for it, because I'm gonna be editing for people. So there's 2 types of edits that I do. There's if you had a wedding edit and you wanted to capture the memory and wanted that edited, there's that.
Okay.
And then there's edits that are 30 seconds long that I do for individual people, and I post that on Instagram or that type of edit.
Okay, so you got this is all video editing, right?
And I also do photo editing.
Okay.
But yeah.
So with the video, Like with a wedding, you're talking about a long format, right? So maybe like an hour-long video or something like that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other kind is would you take like that hour-long video and chop it up into like highlights?
Yeah, highlights, like a montage, basically.
Yeah. So we call that making micro content. So the hour-long video is what we would call pillar content, which means it's like it's the big deal, like that's the centerpiece. And then you can chop it up into these little highlights, which we call micro content. We do exactly that. So as an example, Kezia was at the State of Digital Marketing address, and I spoke for 45 to 50 minutes. Really good information if you're willing to sit through 45 or 50 minutes of a video. But the reality is that most people don't have the time or the desire to sit through that. And so you want to give them the little highlights and put that out on social. Yes, that's a great idea. So as a matter of fact, just this morning, I went to a website called content10x.com. And that's exactly what they do is they repurpose pillar content, in particular videos and pictures. And I think they even do blog posts, and they make micro content. But their whole business, and apparently they do very well with themselves, their whole business is making micro content out of the pillar content. So that alone is a business. And I got a quote from them. It's a pretty lucrative business too. Well, sweet. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
All right, Nicholas. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool.
So I don't really have I talked about a business recently, but the one I was going to start with my dad. But I'm still kind of in the works of getting into like real estate and stuff. But as of right now, I have a job and I'm trying to make a YouTube channel since there is no school.
Yeah. You know what? You've got time, right? So now is the time to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, a lot of the people that I listen to, whether it's on podcasts or whatnot, on social media, they're all recommending that now is the time to just double down on content. So
Yeah, because there's like not really anything going on outside in the world.
Exactly. So, if in the office we were kicking around like some funny Corona videos, some mockumentaries, people are getting really creative about what's going on now and putting out content. And so there's, we've got time, we've got the tools. If you want to create content, now's the time. And, I think for most people, if they don't find the time now, then they just won't do it. So I think it's a really good plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the YouTube channel set up already?
I just need to start posting videos on it and editing the videos. It's pretty much it. But I do have clips of really good stuff I did in games, and then I'll either post it on TikTok or Instagram.
Cool. Nice. So have you posted on YouTube before?
I have, but it wasn't like anything major.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot is the concept of search engine optimization within YouTube. So you could put whatever title and description you want in there, and also tags. Have you looked into that at all?
Not yet. I was in the process of looking up certain information on YouTube and how to upload videos and everything.
Cool. So yeah, I would recommend when you start uploading those videos, think about how someone is going to search for that video, whether it's in YouTube or in Google, and Google owns YouTube. But what words would they put into the text box where you'd want your video to come to the top? All right. So
that's a really good question. I'll have to think on that.
So people usually go to YouTube because they're looking to learn something. right? They're looking to solve a problem like,
Mhm.
like I was just there for something to do with my car. I wanted to figure out how to do something on my car, and so it was a very specific need that I went in there for. Something that probably wouldn't do very well on social media because it's just kind of boring for social media. But in YouTube, it's very factual and will teach people something. So like as an example, I mentioned the State of Digital Marketing address, and that video is up on YouTube now. So we put in the title and the description so that if people are searching for it in particular, they could find it just by searching for State of Digital Marketing address. But then also the tags are all the things that we talked about, like all the different social media, search, digital marketing, etc. And then the description had a lot of those keywords in there as well, so that it would come up if people were searching for it. So that seems to be like something that you can do really relatively easily, is instead of just throwing a video up there, is thinking about what people are going to search for and putting those words in the title and description.
Yeah.
Eric, can I chime in for a second?
Of course. Yeah.
So Nicholas, I searched this morning DIY organizing with Dollar Tree items. Like that's something that I searched for this morning. I was like, I need to organize these toys. And so I put into YouTube how to organize toys, with Dollar Tree, supplies. So yeah, that's very true, Eric. I did
Oh
that
yeah.
just this morning.
Yeah. Very practical stuff. So, and that probably, whatever video landed on Kezia, probably wouldn't do very well, like on Instagram, right?
No, not at all. It's like 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Cool. Well, sounds like a great program you guys got, and it sounds like the three of you have a lot of cool stuff going on and a lot of ideas floating around, which I love. I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and definitely encourage you to keep it up. So, like Nicholas was saying, you've got time now. I would continue to work on those things, solidify it, and something else that I think is important is letting people know what you're working on. So like, you're on this live stream right now and you're telling, basically the world or whoever's watching what your ideas are and what you're working on. And a lot of times entrepreneurs, they won't do that. They'll kind of like keep it to themselves and hoard that information. But I think it's really important to just tell everybody, because the problem is not really that someone's going to steal your idea. That's not the problem, because most people won't do anything with the idea. 99.9% of the people that you tell this idea to won't even remember what you told them, probably. So it's not that people are going to steal your idea. It's that you can't get people's attention to even listen to your idea. So you just have to keep telling them over and over again. And you'll get a lot of ideas coming back at you as well. So you need to kind of like think about, is that idea a good idea I want to incorporate or not? But if you don't put yourself out there, then you won't get the feedback. So it's really good just to let people know what you're doing. So I definitely appreciate you coming on today. And Kezia, it sounds like you got a great program, and appreciate everything you're doing, and hope to see you soon again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you guys for taking the time
Thank you.
to join me.